Okay, let's see. Time to test the audio here. The music would be nice. The music would be nice. Music. Brain freeze moment. Checking my audio real quick. Hello? Testing? Testing, testing? Hello? Testing? Testing, testing? Well, I wonder if I can suppress some of this noise that's coming in. Let me adjust this filter. Noise suppression. Suppression level, let's see. Let's see if this does anything. I want to suppress anything that's below 50 dB. Testing, testing. Test mic. Testing. Test mic. Well, that didn't seem to do much. Oh well. Let's hope it kind of just sounds better. So it just sounds better. My mic seems really loud. It's also clipping. All right, let's see. Let's tone it down, tone it down, tone it down. No, that's making it louder. Does this change my microphone output? Yes, it does. Okay. Let's just put this right here, right here. And there we go. Hopefully I don't get too quiet during this thing. Actually, I'm going to turn it just a little bit louder. All right. Sorry for anyone where this wastes anyone's time. Let's see. Let's share this now. At Dread. I'm also going to share this in some workflow stuff for one of the short films. If anyone wants to join, feel free to do so. Kind of want to do one more thing, which is to set up a push to talk button. Or a mute button. Mute button is fine. Let's choose. Oh, what the fuck? Let's choose this here. Let's see if it works. Unmute. Unmute. All right. Okay, so now we're finally started here. I don't know. This is so weird, man. I don't know why the latency is so long. It's kind of dumb. Anyway, where was I? I'm going to turn this up. Where was I? Okay. All right, give me 1 sec. Just getting comfortable here. All right, I won't take too long. So here's the actual start of this stream, right? Okay, so I set up this stream because, okay, this is not like for clout or anything or whatever. This is just, well, it's a way I like to sometimes work. It actually not motivates me, but it, doing something like consistently helps you get something done. So I like to stream. It kind of just is like this artificial motivator to get something done in a set period of time. So, you set like 4 hours or something to stream, and you take the time to work in those 4 hours, and you do that every day. And before you know it, you're finished with everything. So anyway, this isn't for clout or views or whatever. This is a live stream to help people on my team sort of see I guess to just help get a better understanding of like how to deal with films and, things like that. So like, because it can be pretty complicated, to get through films and shit. And sometimes you just need to just like see what other people do, just to see what like into somebody else's mind to sort of, get to that thing. What is wrong with this over here? What is this? I'm just like looking at this door and okay. All right. So first thing you want to do when you open your session, so I have my session open here, is you want to use your directional scaling patch. And now everything is fixed in scale. So now everything looks normal. All right. So you're going to open okay, so this session, the cabin session, it's a little bit heavy on the resources. For Dread's session, his is a little less intensive, like way less intensive than this one. So this one uses like what, 14 lights or something to illuminate it. 8, 6, 12. So 12 lights. What I did, because I want to be able to, so during a cinematography phase, you want to like be able to see the cinematography and the lighting and stuff like that while you're doing it. And so what I did instead, because I didn't want to wait for the samples to tick up and it would take forever and I would have to lower the quality to do that. What I did instead was I activated the fill light on camera. So this is the thing a lot of people hate, the fill light on camera, right? But it's actually pretty useful for doing a lot of things. Obviously it's not better than global illumination, but the idea with the fill light on camera is that it's basically it's the same thing. It uses like the same kind of methodology for getting globally illuminated things. So I'm just going to disable all my lighting here. So I'm going to disable the global illumination so that you can see just what the fill light on camera does. So I'll just go here so you can see this. I'm also going to turn down this aperture. And what fill light on camera does, it's positioned on the camera to fully illuminate the whatever's in front of it. And it's done in such a way where, the FOV of the light is just extremely large. So it'll just blanket the whole thing in this sort of uniform level of lighting. And it's called, and that's what a fill light basically is. It's to fill in light where, to fill in the spaces of light where, aside from a direction based light, so a light that comes from a direction is going to be coming in, and a light that is not, that is global you know, coming from all directions, that's what a fill light is meant to sort of imitate. So you can see here, it illuminates this pretty well. So now you activate this, and I'm going to be using just these two lights to sort of get an idea of what the lighting is going to look like. I might make a de facto sun because I kind of want to, now the global illumination already does a sun, but I might want another one because, so also with this session, if you have like, if you're using global illumination apertures like this, like openings and windows, make the lights spread out a lot, you know? So if you have like little gaps or whatever, the light will come in and it'll show the shadows from these gaps. And because it's coming in at all angles, it'll diffuse out a lot. And because you're only limited to 1,000 samples or whatever, it's kind of not enough. So you kind of have to use the stack system, which gives you artificially more. Not, well, yeah, it's not artificial, it's real, but it gives you more stacks, so it'll give you a better, clearer thing here. But you can see that as it's loading in all these samples, it's getting more and more diffused, and it's also sort of mixing in here. But anyway, you might want to make a de facto sun just so you can get another sense of like, okay, well, do you want a sun here to shine on them and stuff to get more sense of the cinematography? But I'm probably not going to have a sun because the other session doesn't have a sun. And because it's like an overcast kind of deal. So anyway, purpose of this is to, so, you know, when it comes to cinematography, you want to set up your whole sort of, you want to make sure you're doing it with your lighting on and stuff like that, because you want to, you know, the lighting, everything. And so cinematography is like conceptually, it's everything that is on the screen. Everything you want to depict on the screen is like, that's what cinematography is. So it's all the information on the screen. Additionally, there's another layer of it, which is like, okay, what do you actually want to, what story you want to tell, like emotionally, right? Like, you know, like, so there's like the technical aspect of cinematography, and then there's like the actual emotion, like the not rational thing, you know, the sort of just the creatively, what do you want to show? Like, what are you trying to say in a shot, you know? So, okay. So to start this off, you know, if you don't have mocap, right? So I just have mocap already. So I'm going to use that to sort of just skip a bunch of steps like posing and shit like that. But if you don't have mocap, you know, it's the same exact process. You're just doing it without mocap. So you just got to do it, you know, you got to pose things by hand. But I have mocap, so I'm going to import those now. So Dread, when you get this, you know, I already have your files, by the way. Well, I have the three main files for the majority of the scene, but there's a bunch of smaller ones that I'm exporting out currently. So those will probably be done later tonight, but I'm not processing them right now because I don't want to take up too much of my resources while streaming. So let's see. So let's see. Scene one. Let me see. Soldier. So I'm going to import this one. Click OK. I'm going to go here. Import. Oh, by the way, you want to make sure you declick on root transform scale. You don't have to actually, but just it's good practice. You don't want the model to port into nowhere. So Mercy scene one, entire sequence. So let this import. Now animation data takes up memory. I don't know if you saw the memory jump there, but it takes up memory. So that's something to just keep in mind. So let's save this. Right, okay. All right, so the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you put your characters in places where they belong. Now, if you're dealing with someone who did mocap, they kind of have to tell you like, all right, well, where is this character supposed to be in space? Because I did the mocap, I know where they're supposed to be. You can also sort of judge it by yourself. Like you can actually judge, right? So based on the script, which you're supposed to be using. But the idea is that he's looking out the window. right? So he's looking out the window. By the way, tell me if this is not bright enough to see. Like, if this is not bright enough to see, just let me know. So what I'm going to do is, so he's supposed to be looking out when he's got his arms crossed of the window. And so I want to move him into this position here, like this. So I know already, like, all right, this is the way he's supposed to be rotated. I'm going to move him right here. And Mercy, she's going to be like, she's on like this like artificial sort of computer over here that is not actually in this scene build right now. So for now, it's just going to be like just pretend, you know. Let's see. So she's on this computer. She's waving her arms around because it's like a futuristic thing. She's facing this direction. And she's going to be aimed sort of like around here. And the computer is going to be like, well, it's a hologram thing. It's going to be coming from the ceiling, I guess. It's sort of projecting, like, it's supposed to like be like some kind of device that comes down and projects something onto here. So I'm not going to, put it there now. But anyway, so what happens is, he's walking around. So if I could just get a good thing here. He walks in. He's talking to her, right? Now he seems a little far away. Oh, actually, by the way, I want to increase his size a little bit because I noticed that he's just a bit too small. Oh, I already added this. Is this already increased? Oh, yeah, it's already increased. So he was just a bit too small earlier. So now he's like a more normal size. Let's see. So he's supposed to walk and talk to her. I'm probably going to move him. Let's see how far away this is. So, okay, I might move her sort of over here, which is just a tiny bit closer to to him. So he goes. So this is where he's supposed to kind of be facing her. And all right, so what I'm also going to do is I'm going to extend this out just so I could see the rest of this. It's a 2-minute thing. All right, so also you see, like, as I'm scrubbing through this, the idea is, okay, let me extend these out because I want to see that going on. So who's this? Is this pre-recorded by Baz and Creed? No, it's not pre-recorded. This is live right now. All right, so what's happening here is, so the idea is we want to kind of align just a little bit. We're going to fix it shot by shot. Right now you kind of want to just set up a single shot, and then you're going to get your camera angles. You're going to get all your camera angles or whatever. Then you're going to start splitting the shot so that you don't have to do it over and over again. So, okay, so he's there. And you're going to move, you adjust it later after you've cut the shots up. So over here, he kind of walks a little bit too much into this wall. I just want to like move him back just a little bit. We'll move those boxes later. So anyway, she comes in and she leans on his shoulder. So this seems pretty close. So obviously we'll fix that in the actual shot when the shot is made. Extend this out a little bit more. All right, that's the tremor. That's also the tremor. And T-pose, and the T-pose indicates that the animation's over. So, all right, we're gonna shrink this down. Save it. All right, so now, all right. This is the part where it's like, all right, this is where you got to get your creative juices sort of flowing. So what you're gonna do, or what I'm gonna do, is I'm going to do this thing where I set up trying to wonder, since I'm using fill light on camera. All right, so the shot begins with this. So he's looking out the window. He's got his arms crossed. And ideally, so I don't really know what style this is going to be. Like if it's going to be like a anime-ish kind of style, or if it's going to be just, you know, Born Identity type of style. But that's kind of what you want to think about is like, all right, what kind of style do you want the thing to be in? Um, what I kind of want is, you know, Kiriko's going to be out there and he's going to be looking through the window. And I also sort of want him to have this 70. I want people to know exactly who he is, even if you've never seen the fucking game. You know what I'm saying? So, um, obviously, you know, people are going to still not know who he is if they've never played this game. But for people who just they see the animation, they know, okay, this is Soldier 76 because he's got a big 76 on his back. So it helps people just understand, all right, this is what the who the character is, you know. So that's one thing that I'm thinking about. Another thing I'm thinking about is there's gonna be outside of this, you know, there's gonna be a character, and then I'm thinking about maybe like what's gonna happen is it might zoom in. Actually, no. What's gonna happen is because so in the previous shot, you know, the camera's probably going to zoom in to the cabin a little bit from Kiriko's position. You want to sort of have the same flow of movement, you know? So if you're moving into the cabin, right? So I guess you can imagine it like this, right? Just from here, right? The previous shot, there's the cabin, and then, you know, Kiriko's in the foreground. You might be zooming in on Kiriko because the idea is that the next shot is going to be the cabin interior. So if you're zooming in, right, then on the next shot you're going to be zooming outward, you know, because you want to maintain the same sense of movement. Um, that's like a cinematography, I guess, trick, I guess you could say. So it'll show like this to see the 76 on his back. Then he's going to do his little movement where he sighs or whatever. And then it'll probably do something where it goes like this and it turns to the characters. And then you might have like a thing where the camera rotates around. So, anyway, this would be the first shot. So, something like this. And we see Kiriko outside. Um, let's see. Rule of thirds wise, because like there's different ways to do this. You could, I think I'm gonna center frame it. So like Kiriko's would be the center frame. He comes in off frame, so he comes in off frame, and it'll mesh into a rule of cool or both center frame or something. I kind of like rule of cool, I think. So anyway, I'm copying this. I'm gonna paste it and delete this work camera. I'm gonna call it shot one. And so then he turns, right? I'm gonna call this shot 1A. I'm gonna call this shot 1B because I do kind of want to capture that the camera's gonna move a little bit. So over here at maybe 15 seconds, it probably won't last anywhere near 15 seconds. It's gonna be like that. Probably put down like that. And now, so obviously what's going to happen is the focal distance is also going to be where the cabin's located. He's going to be probably just a slightly blurry in the foreground. So let's see what this looks like. What I'm going to do also, because I'm using this sort of fill light on camera technique here, is I'm just going to copy these fill lights on camera just so I can see like what I'm doing. To do that, I'm just sort of, by the way, you, Dread, you don't have to use the fill light on camera in your thing. You've got global illumination already to sort of help you out. Let's see, I'm going to put this like this, and then I'm going to default. Is that correct? I'm going to mute this. Yes, that's correct. All right. Shot 1B is going to be this second one. Let me default this. Hopefully I can get this done by tonight, actually. But probably won't get through all of it. Anyway, we're going to disable that, and we're going to, that's already disabled. So now we can kind of see what it looks like. And now obviously on shot 1B, the focal distance is going to be like this. All right, if you have issues doing that, just make the remap it smaller. So there we go. Now we can kind of take a look at it. Oh, let me delete this sound file. Some good tea. All right. So this looks good to me. Let it load just a little bit so we can see. Yeah, I like this shot. I think it's going to reflect what I want it to. Shot 1A is not going to be that much different. Oops, I had the wrong one on. That's okay. Let's just see what it looks like this close. Oh yeah, we're also using anamorphic camera for this. So I do kind of want to see what it looks like through anamorphic camera. So okay, he's blurry in the foreground. So when the shot opens up, so when the whole thing begins, the shot's going to open up into the cabin, zooming backwards. So we're going to see him blurry a little bit. Then it's going to, you know, slowly de-blur to see that it's him and to get rid of that foreground there. That makes sense. I kind of like, I mean, originally I wanted it to be like him looking straight out, but that's okay. I'm wondering right now, what I'm wondering is what I want to have next. All right, so that's the first shot. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bag this together. I'm going to group that all together. Call it shot 1. I'm going to go back to this again, my standard camera. And now the second shot, could be something like this. I kind of need to see the script real quick. It's all right. Here in the script, he sighs. He says, "What's taking her so long?" That's kind of where I want the end of shot 1B to be. He turns to Mercy in a similar fashion, blah, 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 is waving her arms around. So anyway, he does this thing where he turns like that. So we kind of want a shot that sort of captures him turning. And obviously, you're going to want like an establishing shot at some point. You don't always have to have an establishing shot at the beginning of something. You can have it, you can sort of ease into a establishing shot, you know? Like you don't have to have this as the first shot, you know what I mean? It depends on the kind of story you want to tell. So my whole thing is, I kind of like this whole idea of turning around to see her. Like I kind of, because, you know, this was shot 1B, right? And turning around to see her like this. I don't know. I kind of like that idea. Let's just see what it looks like live. All right, so by the way, what I'm doing now is puppeteering. So puppeteering is like where you press play, you move your camera, and your camera will record those movements. So, all right, pretending this is live. Yeah, I don't really like, I do kind of like the idea, but the execution doesn't seem right. Probably because we don't see his face talking to hers. So it's kind of just discontinuous like that. This is what it looks like. See, I don't really like that because we can't see his face yet still. We should be able to see his face. So I'm thinking something more like that we transition to a different shot and that it's something like this. And it needs to be like, I mean, it could also be over here because this is so there's two options, right? We have this option, which is he turns around, right? He turns around. That way we can see both of their faces. We also see Mercy over here. So let's just do a little test run of that. I'm going to make the shot a little tighter. Okay, I wonder if I kind of want this sort of movement where the camera goes up a little bit because we do kind of want to see like this idea that he's getting that, because you know Soldier 76 is like a tall super soldier, you know. It's kind of part of like him as a character. So we do want to see this sort of like idea where we'll see how this turns out. It seems like also that they're too far away. And they're kind of continuing to talk to each other. I also kind of want to make sure we're following him. So, all right, that was just like a little test run to see what this might look like. So smooth that out. Let's just see what it looks like here. So end of shot 1B transitions into this. He says his little line. He's like, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, yeah, whatever. It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. Something to consider is that from this camera angle, like, all right, let me try to explain just like what's going through my mind, right? Which is, or rather like conceptually what I'm thinking, like what should come to your mind conceptually is you want to have like, you want to be thinking about depth, you know, foreground, middle ground, background. You want to be like thinking about movement, so how the movement sort of works. you also want to be thinking about like um let's see. I'm wondering. I'm just thinking. Oh yeah, I was saying earlier about the conceptually, which was you know, the light is going to cast the sunlight from outside, the you know the light that's coming in. It's going to cast a little bit of a rim on them. So, well, there's also so right now you can't really see the rim, but you know, ideally the sun would create a little rim light around them on the edges. And according to some, that's a very cinematic way to do lighting versus say a key light being in front of them, you know, covering 3/4 of their face, you know. So that's something to think about is like the light here is gonna sort of create a nice shadow on the front of them and rim light on the edges of them. So that's something I'm thinking about with that shot. Anyway, let me move to. I do like that. I do like that. Let me try to see what it might look like from here. See, this looks okay. See, if Kiriko was, if Mercy was right here, that would be pretty nice. But she's kind of far away. We kind of have to deal with that. Her wings also make it really hard to do it over the shoulder, you know? Over the shoulder is really nice, but her wings are just so fucking in the way that it's not going to be a possibility. So, um, I wonder if her wings fold up. I'm actually going to look that up real quick. I don't think they fold up. I don't think there's an image that exists where her wings are folded up. I think they're just always open. She can move them. See here, it shows that they're closed, or at least this one shows that it's closed. But also that seems funny. It's a in-game thing. Pretty sure they don't close, at least on this model. I'm going to see if they do close on this model. You can move those. Those seem to move. So those move. You know, I probably have to make an idle for this where her wings are closed. And that might actually be kind of cool to do. Let's disable the light for now. Because it would allow us to do a over the shoulder. I don't know what a closed wing would look like. All right, let's see what this might look like here. It would be really cool if it was like this and the shot moves across like that in front of her, and then we can get a big sort of thing, a sweeping thing. Let's see if we could try that and see what it looks like. But first I'm going to try to lower this other wing. All right, so another test run of this shot. Let's see. So he's looking out the window. So, all right, so it starts here. Any minute. He comes in. We go across like that. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my root transform position. And by the way, this is just a test to see what it's gonna look like in motion. It's not exactly storyboarding, you know, but it's all right, let's see what this looks like here. Round. Playhead. And let's smooth this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See what it looks like. It's a little bit slow. Kind of want it to be faster. Let's see what it looks like just a little bit faster. I want to be on the other side of her. Okay, and we're gonna see what this looks like. So we're gonna try to move the camera up. So that was kind of bad. Obviously you want to keep the camera moving, but anyway, it's just a test to see what it looks like. We're kind of really close to her face. But that's okay. All right, let's see what it looks like rendered a little bit. All right, so okay, this is shot 2. Well, if this was shot 2, trying to think. This is shot 1. Then if it goes to shot 2, we still kind of have him there in the middle. Okay, so what I'm thinking right now is that the moment he turns, let's see, if he's turning, so if he's turning, then the previous shot 1B has to also kind of turn with him a little bit. Because the viewer needs to like understand that he's moving, you know, that because as you transition and also breaking 180 rule, you kind of need like visual cues to sort of judge for people to figure that out, you know. So he's going to be going like that. It's going to transition immediately into this sort of thing. All right. So I've kind of decided that I do want this to be shot 2. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it. I'm actually going to do this. Copy. Paste. Paste. I'm going to playhead this. I'm going to I'm going to have to sharpen this up. Okay, now I'm going to attach these together. They should already be attached, pretty much. But okay, so now I'm going to rename this to shot 2A, shot 2B, grouping them, just calling it shot 2. All right, so shot 1A begins, well, let's see, I'm probably going to put some fake keyframes, so some fake ones that indicate what the shot is. So that's the first shot. Then shot 1B happens. Let's see, shot 1B is gonna sort of end here. It's gonna be way shorter time frame. Anyway, then shot 2A happens right around here. Shot 2A. And then shot 2B. So by the time he's over here, so by the time from here to here, we've already transitioned from one side to the other. And again, this is just setting us up for the storyboard. So actually, just want to make sure the picture looks good. That's sort of our primary objective. He's also going to be moving, looking his head this way. That's shot 1B. Now for the storyboard, I'm thinking, you know, this is probably going to be one of the frames for the storyboard. So this is just one frame. The next storyboard frame is going to be it's probably going to be something like this. So the next storyboard frame is going to be this. And I mean, you can keyframe that however you want to organize it. You know what I mean? Like you can organize it by storyboard imagery, or you can do it by, okay, you tested a shot. What kind of shot is it? Is it going to be more complex than what you know, than just a shot-to-shot transition? Anyway, okay, so we move to the other side. He says, let's show like what do we know about it? Not much. Kiriko did say this is a kind of bridge. I'm wondering where we should go from this point. So we're going to take this. To see it again. At this point, we need to really see Kiriko. We really need to see Mercy. Like we need to actually see her, you know, not just her profile or whatever. We also kind of need to see the environment a little bit. I think what I'm gonna do is, well, we can hold this shot a bit. We could hold it. All right, so taking my standard camera again. We could do like a complete thing like this. And this way we actually see Mercy, you know. And let's see, focal distance. Just want to see what it looks like. What's going to happen is the sun is going to very much illuminate this side of her. Well, let me disable these. Oopsie. And just see my Discord real quick. All right, cool. Mr. Dread. All right, so now we get to see her. So the shot's going to transition to where we see her. And he gets over the shoulder. Now, Soldier 76 is moving. So we kind of need this shot to be flexible, if that makes sense. Meaning we have to give it a little space. And let's see, we could do this one of two ways. We can do something like that. We could do something a bit more far away. Now my favorite far away shot was over here. This is probably my favorite one. Because you get to see like the kitchen sink and whatever. But again, I think the objective is we need to sort of see Mercy talking. And then we can transition into an establishing shot, you know? I guess that's going to sound confusing. You don't always have to start an establishing shot at the beginning of a scene. Normally you do, but you don't have to do that for every single scene, you know? Usually it's like, okay, it's to set up like the setting, you know? So you already set up an establishing shot in the previous thing, which was there's a cabin and Kiriko's there doing her magic thing. So that's the establishing shot, you know? So when it comes to inside the cabin, we already know it's taking place inside a cabin. And so the establishing shot in the cabin would be less about establishing their location and more about, you know, showing the space that they're in, but telling the story a bit further away, you know, than being in front of their faces, you know. So, okay, I like this for now. What is this? I don't know what this is. Delete shot 3. Let's just connect these together. So Dread, if you're watching, if you have any questions, man, you can always just ask me anything, man, in chat, dude. By the way, if you're wondering why I didn't open comms, it's because I need to sort of like, I only have 2 hours and I have to really sort of focus on, I'm really bad at doing multitasking, so I can't like talk and listen and do work at the same time, you know? That's just how I am, you know? Yeah, good, good. All right, so let's see. So on shot 3, so now we go to shot 4. Actually, wait, just delete this. So shot 4 is going to be our establishing thing here. And we kind of want to keep the same. What we want to capture is him moving around like that. So he's moving, he's pacing back and forth. You really want to sort of capture this this pacing from a good angle, you know? The best angle, in my opinion, is something like this. I'm going to see if we can, like, I'm going to do another test shot here. It goes in. Yes, that thing. Just going to do a couple other test shots. I don't like that this chair is in the way, so I might just get rid of it. I also don't like looking particularly out this window without also having the detail of the cabin here. Because I want to capture this detail that the cabin has, you know. I want to be able to capture like that kitchen and stuff, which is why I'm inclined to do it on this side. But let's see what it looks like here. Let me think. Could also, let's see, if he's walking that direction, you don't want it to be too low to the ground. A good like cinematography thing is to have like a shot like this sometimes. But not for this one, I don't think. I don't really like that whole idea of going up top. Alright, so I'm really thinking about something like this. See how far back we can go in the corner. Alright, let's try this. See, now, you don't want it to move too much in a shot like that. Reason you don't want it to move too much is because, all right, is because the character movement is going to be driving the movement, you know, of the shot. So if you're moving the camera from like an establishing shot like this, you want to keep it very subtle to only trail the characters very slowly. So smoothing it out. Let's just see what it looks like. So he'll be pacing around. The camera's just slightly trailing him. Now, at a certain point in the conversation, you want to sort of, so depending on what the information of the story is, right? You want to go and like, to express like a, you know, to express an emotion someone's going through or like a point of conflict. That's when you want to do a kind of close up, you know, because you want to see what you want to see their face a little bit. So anyway, he's pacing around. He says, maybe they want to use it as a weapon. If that's the case, Mercy says, "Stop." You know that's not an option. He says, "We're sitting ducks out in the open." So I think when he says we're sitting ducks out in the open, that's when you really want to, and also because he's moving forward, that's when you want to sort of be zoomed in on him, you know, from like when I say zoomed in, you want to go to a shot that's like, all right, let me just call this shot 4. Let me bag this together. Copy this one. Let's see. Let me just make sure this is connected. Defaulted. All right, so now, so this is shot 4. Cool. I'm just gonna leave the motion on it. I should have done that from the beginning, is just leaving my motion on it, but it's no big deal. If you leave your motion, it's fine. If you don't, you know, just remember what you did the first time. Okay, disabling. So calling this shot 3. Calling this shot 4. Okay, disable that. Disable that. And now this is where we want to playhead. So going back to the standard camera again. This is where we go to the playhead, and here's where, you know, by the way, I'm not really caring about, what's it called? 180. I'm not caring about that. You know what I'm saying? Technically on 180, I don't know how many times I've broken it right now, but I've broken it a lot. So I went from like over here to over here and whatever, because that's not what I'm thinking about. You know, I'm not thinking about 180 rule. I'm thinking about motion of characters, where the light's coming from, what kind of like story is happening. You know, that's really what you want to go for. You know what I mean? Like that's what you want to be motivated by. Keep rule of thirds in your mind. You know, you can't just like go back and forth like it ain't shit. But you kind of have to have a smooth transition between between breaking the rules. You know, and you have to have reasons why. You know, it's okay. So he goes in, right? So when he goes in, it's the perfect time to have a close up of him. So I'm just going to go lens like this. It's the perfect time to have a close up because that's when he's like sort of mad, you know? So he's going to go round, right? Oh, whoops, I was muted the whole time. My bad. So I was actually saying, for some reason I was muted. Sorry. So what I was saying was that um, the reason we want to switch to this shot is that, so after this establishing shot, right, he says something in the script which says, "We're sitting ducks out in the open," and that's kind of where his emotional state sort of comes in, and that's when you want to do a close up of that emotional state, you know, where he's mad. He's like, "We can't stay here," you know, blah blah blah. We're in a bad spot, whatever he says. And then when he's walking away, so he does this thing where he puts his hands on his hips, and you kind of want to capture that motion because it's also defining his mental state, you know, and telling the story. So he does that thing again where he comes back to say something, and now at this point, that's when he's going to say another sort of the next thing, you know, whatever the next thing is going to be. So I hope I'm explaining at least decently uh, how this sort of works. You know, like the idea is that you're like the whole point of cinematography is not, a lot of it is not really like, yes, there's technical things you're thinking about, but also it is mostly about trying to tell a story, you know, like through, like that's what it's about. It's not about rule of thirds or any of that bullshit, you know what I mean? It's all about like movement, you know, character movement, character emotion, um setting up information for the audience. So, you know, shot 4 is the establishing shot, right, of this cabin. You don't always have to open up with that, right? But you need establishing shot so that you can establish to the audience what the space that they're in, you know? Show them like, okay, they're in this space. Um all right, let's just recap from the beginning. So, the beginning of the story starts out with Kiriko outside, and we're like, and he's in the foreground. Let me just do this. Mute that. These should all be not muted. Okay. Okay, I see what I did wrong here. All right, so it begins like this. So Kiriko is in the background, but in focus. Soldier 76 is out of focus as the shot is trailing in to the cabin. I explained that earlier, but the reason it's trailing into the cabin is because the shot before it is going to be the camera moving towards the cabin, and you want to maintain that sense of motion. This is the second part of that shot. So we're over here by that point in time. And from here, okay, right, so the reason that this is the, you know, why we're zooming back, why we're continuing to zoom out, is because we want to see the 76 on his back, right? It'll tell people who he is, right? You identify, oh, that's 76, and that's like a major part of who he is, you know? Then he's going to turn and walk towards Mercy. Oh, and also, you know, Kiriko is no longer in focus. He says this line, whatever it is. He's like, what's taking her so long? Anyway, he turns to Mercy. So we're going to go to shot 2. And here, Mercy is in the foreground again. And he's in the middle ground. And also, she's pretty much going to be sort of out of focus a little bit. Probably not too much out of focus, but the idea is that he's here, he turns around, right? And the camera's going to be panning over across her shoulders so that we see who he's talking to, right? So then it ends up here. So this is the shot 2B. Let's disable this one. Let's just see what it looks like. And he's saying, what is he saying at this point? He's saying something like, so this relic, what do we know about it? She says, not much. Kiriko did say that it's a kind of bridge. So by the time she says that, in the middle of that line, that's when we're transitioning to this shot, shot 3. And he's obviously going to be walking at some point. I haven't figured out what the motion of this shot is going to be, but I think it needs to be just slightly more open. Not sure. And then it's going to transition to shot 4, which is the establishing shot of the cabin and of where they're all at in space. On shot 4. So, okay, I can actually play it, which is nice. He says, any reason the Omnics would want to take something like that? She says, your guess is as good as mine. Maybe they want to use it as a weapon. And if that's the case, then we should destroy it. And then she says, stop, you know that's not an option. Then, right as he does this, or like right before he lifts his hand, because he's turning around, that's when he says, we're sitting ducks out in the open, I believe that's when that happens. And then he's like, we're sitting ducks out in the open. And so this is where we want to really see his emotional state, which is that he's just, you know, he's not angry or mad. He's just like, you know, he's like, listen, this is what we're going to do, you know. And so he continues to badger her about that. He puts his arms, his hands on his waist, again showing off his emotional state. He continues with what he's saying, which is, we need to move it to a secure location, develop proper defense model. We don't have time for this ritual. And so she says, you know, we don't have blah, blah, blah. And by the way, she's not like totally in sync here. I just don't remember exactly when she says her lines. I think this is when she says it. But ideally, we want to make sure that it's at least in sync. Let me see. He says, what do we know about this relic? Any reason the Omnics want to take it? And then he says, maybe they want to use it as a weapon. If that's the case, we should destroy it. Oh, so funnily enough, so this is where he might say, okay, this is where he says, so this area between 70 and 90 is when he says, this line, I think. The previous line is when he said, maybe they want to use it as a weapon. And if that's the case, then we should destroy it. So this is where he says that line instead. I kind of want to keep what we have. I'm just going to like review it real quick. So he says, maybe they want to use it as a weapon. And if that's the case, we should destroy it. Puts his hands on his waist. And he's like, We're sitting ducks out in the open. We don't have blah, blah, blah. We don't have time for this ritual. Yeah, that's where he says we don't have time for this ritual. I do want to keep the same energy as that previous shot that we established. We could also just make this shot 4 longer, I think. Let me see how long. Because he does do the same pacing again. So he goes like that. Then he turns around and he does the same thing. So he basically does the same thing because he's pacing. We could just extend this out. Why isn't the camera moving? Oh, don't tell me. No. The fun is over. The fun has ended. So this is why this is the pain, all right? This is the true pain, all right? This here, when you see this shit, this is pain. so just forget it. Like, just at that point, you know, you got to cut your shot into something. So you can't like do the whole thing. I think your session has an elongated version, which is 180 seconds. Mine has a is from a gimped version, which was 60 seconds or whatever. So I don't think you'll be I don't think you have to deal with this. You won't have to deal with extending these things. But me, unfortunately, I have to go and I'm gonna have to just cut my shot to continue to make things happen. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to save. And I'm going to go to 20 seconds here. Well, I know that this is, so this is zoom in. So, okay. This is, so I have to basically start my thing now. So my procedures now for breaking up the shot. So he goes, he's waiting here. It's probably going to take nothing more than 5 seconds. So I'm going to like cut it down to 10 seconds. I'm going to save it just in case. I'm also probably going to save it as a new thing, storyboard. Let's save. All right, so now, this first thing that I cut, I can now kind of just, I now have the freedom to sort of, to animate this camera if I want. Again, I'm animating it only because I have the mocap. You know, you can animate it even if you're only dealing with poses, but anyway, so now I'm going to adjust this mocap here so that his turning is right at the end there. Now let's go to shot B. It's okay. He's turning and walking. That's the cue. That's the visual cue for the audience that movement is occurring with him and that there's going to be a camera change. So let's start here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this transform, copy it, Go to shot 1A, copy the transform and paste it. Extend it out like that. Pressing 1 for the transition. So it's that panning like that. Let's just see what it looks like. 10 seconds is far too long, but it's probably going to be something like 5-6 seconds. You know, it's not going to be 10 seconds. He's also kind of moving a bit too much. Now what I want to do to maintain my, to prevent myself from bumping into that issue with these channel clips is I'm going to just copy, paste this shot. I'm going to just copy it. And I'm going to paste it. And here we're going to transition to shot 2. And we're also going to copy the transform of this. Copying that, pasting it over here. Introducing a roll off, moving it here like so. Putting that there, moving this here. I'm probably going to add an arc to this panning. And also I'm moving the mocap of these two characters so that this is okay. So at the beginning, soldier is moving like so. Let's see what it looks like transition wise. All right, so here's shot 1. He's looking out the window. He starts to move and he's talking. He says some shit. Now, by the way, we want this camera panning to happen faster. So here, we're going to go to the position. We're going to move it. So we want to be in position right around here, right before he gets like that. We also want this to be like that. And we're going to add a little bit of handheldedness, handheld like camera motion. So I'm going to go like this, record it live. That wasn't the smoothest thing, but let's just see what it looks like. I want to slow out. I want to ease up on the slowing down of this of the position vector. So I'm going to change the curves here with 4. So okay, looking back at this, just going to look at it again. So he says, blah, 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 what's taking so long? And then he's going to move like that into the new shot. Then he's saying whatever the hell he said, which was, what do we know about it? So this relic, what do we know about it? She says her line. I don't know exactly how long this shot's supposed to be. me just check my ping. Okay, I see. All right, so now on shot, I'm gonna rename this to shot 2. That clip name, shot 2. I'm gonna set this to template shot. So after shot 2, like this, we're gonna transition into shot 3. So copy paste. And on shot 3, which is, I'm gonna mute this. I'm gonna enable this. Is we're over here. And again, we're gonna move the motion capture. So he's there. I don't know how long this is supposed to be, but we'll see. Now, obviously, if he's moving back, you want to align that movement of him moving back. So let's see. Just gonna move these together. Oof, it's so laggy. Oh, I hope I saved. All right, let's see when I saved. I'm pretty sure I saved like moments ago. We're gonna go to game. We're gonna go to user mod, elements, sessions, Titan class, storyboard. 9:25, 9:24. All right, so I saved at 9:25, which is 3 minutes ago. I don't think I did that much in 3 minutes. Music. Fucking hot, man. Anyway, this process doesn't take that long usually, but right now I'm just putting a lot of thought and effort into it. For something like this, 2-minute scene, probably take me a day or two. No autosave. By the way, Dread, if you're watching, man, if you have any questions, bro, just ask me, man. Cause it's very esoteric, this stuff, you know? It's not like something you can really teach, you know what I'm saying? Or to learn from. Like, it's just like, right now, I guess you can say, like, this is just peering into my own mindset, what I'm thinking about, you know what I mean? It's not really something you can, like, teach someone, you know? Like, there's just, like, little tips and tricks and things that you kind of learn over time and shit. Or from just watching a shit ton of movies. Because, this is like a lot of stuff is just, it's stuff that you pick up from movies, you know, like tricks that they use. You notice it, you know, it's like a pattern, you know, they all kind of do similar things. So, okay, he walks up, he says his little fucking line. Okay, so here on shot 3, let's disable this. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, so something to mention is that mocap takes up space, you know what I'm saying? Like, it takes up memory. So what we're going to do, or what I'm going to start doing, is cutting up. Well, maybe not yet. It depends. But there's going to be a point in time where you want to sort of do this sort of thing where it's like, all right, if you have this much mocap here, you want to playhead the mocap you're not using. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be a point in time in which you need to do that because your session is just racking up memory as you have more animation data. So I'm not doing that just yet, but it's going to eventually reach you. It's going to eventually catch up to you, and you have to kind of do that process at some point. Anyway, my focus is on the cinematography. So anyway, the idea was we're lining up these two. You know, where are the... Okay, you know what's stupid? I didn't make a storyboard version of this. All right, we'll just focus on that later then. So we're gonna move this. Let's see. Let me just try to see what he's doing. So he walked over. He did this thing where he moseyed backwards. All right, so on shot 3, I mean, we need to be able to see what he's doing, you know? It's either that. It's either that or I can just altogether change the thing. Okay. So this is the idea I'm getting here, which is all right, let me just think for a sec. All right, so what we can do, well, we can do a close-up shot of her face. So instead of trying to get Soldier 76 in the picture here, we could just do a close-up of her face like this. So here I'm doing like a center frame rule of cool type thing. So she's not exactly in center frame. She's kind of off center a little bit, slightly. But she's pretty much center. This is kind of center. So let's see. I'm just going to tilt her head so that we get the idea here. Fix her eyeballs. Set this to local view target. Kind of want her to appear like she's sort of busy. So I want her to sort of be looking forward because she's like on a hollow thing and then glancing at him, you know, from like a side eye type thing. So she'll be looking forward and then she'll glance side eye. I kind of don't like that she has this bang covering her. I like that. I don't know if I can manipulate the hair, but that's okay. I think I think people will understand with just one eye. Okay, let me save and let me put the directional scaling script because I forgot to do that. All right, so she okay, I decided to change shot 3 into this close-up thing so that we don't have to see 76. And now it gives us a bit of so okay, now we're going to copy this. We're going to paste it. Save. You can see my memory is climbing a lot. You see right now it's at 3,000. We started at 2,600 or something. So that's the mocap, you know, that's the length of the mocap animation data it's catching up to you, you know. You just got to be real careful with that, man. I think I'll try to do that procedure before the time is up here so that you can at least see that you can at least deal with that before your sessions start crashing. You don't want to get to a point where your session is just straight up crashing and not able to boot up again. So anyway, let me just do this final shot 4 here. It's not the final shot, but just for now, just doing this shot. So here, let's see, he wanders around. I'm gonna do this thing where I'm moving this because the next shot is supposed to be so this is where he's gonna transition to the next shot. Okay, so this shot has to be just a little longer from what I can tell. So I'm gonna make it 50 seconds. I mean 20 seconds. So you know, I thought there was movement on shot 4. Did I not capture it? It's okay. Anyway, at the end of shot 4 here, that's when he turns, and then shot 5 happens. I'm gonna save once again. I'm gonna copy this, and I'm gonna paste it. No. No. Paste it. All right, and then here, that's when we want the shot 5, which I haven't made yet. I gotta find the animation data to it. There it is. So, moving 76, mocap data. So right here. Okay, I want to get this a little bit more clean, I think. I want to get him turning. Oh my fucking god. It. Right. He's rough, bro. Let's try this again. Really gotta deal with the mocap. Making, well, not the mocap, the animation data. Gotta really sort of deal with that. Let's see how far it went. All right, let me think. I'm going to deal with it now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy. So, okay, in this template shot, I have all of the motion of both characters. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into these and I'm going to crop them by, okay, so this is the procedure that you need. So you're taking a look at this mocap data, you notice that it's very long. You want to go to maybe 5 or 10 seconds, sometimes longer, depends on how much sort of leeway you want to give yourself. But the shorter, the better. So I'm clipping here 5 seconds. I'm going to paste it. And obviously, this is probably the, you want to, usually the ideal thing is you want to save this process for the last thing. Like you want to save it for the last moment, you know, like on the final animation. but you might have to do it this soon, you know. Anyway, 5 seconds, so I'm cutting it off here at 16. Playhead. So I selected both characters and I playheaded the animation. By the way, you want to make sure you just have your original mocaps on at least a template shot like this, just so that you have it, you know. You want to always keep the original mocap, you know. So here, doing the same thing. And playhead this. Let's just make sure it's correct. Alright, so that's fine. Giving myself 5 seconds of leeway. Oh, also I needed to import his weapon. That I didn't do that. But that's also something you want to kind of do first. You already brought it up the other day. So, you know, putting the weapon on him and stuff. I guess I'll do that tonight before this ends. All right, let me see here. So that's the shot of her. I'm going to, again, give myself 5 seconds of leeway for that shot. And here, I'm going to just make sure it's correct first. So I want this to end right here. I want this. Okay. So again, I'm giving myself, I'm going to leave Mercy. Wait. Just see Mercy. I haven't really focused on Mercy yet. So I'm going to give Mercy a longer buffer for myself, so about 30 seconds. And Soldier 76 I'll give a way smaller buffer. Like so. Saving. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to save, and we're going to restart SFM. And then we're going to see if our memory is okay. Man, hopefully we can do this. The complexity of this short is kind of pretty big. It's a pretty complex short, so... Alright, we're going to scrub through. Alright, so you see how our memory is only 2700 now, still? I mean, not still. It reduced from... now it's 2600, even though we've kind of scrubbed through everything. Before it was at like 3200, you know? So that's why you kind of got to stay on top of that, stuff. The mocap you might be receiving might be extremely long, so came out like 4 minutes long, so I don't know. I think we'll see. It's pretty long though. So okay, so he's doing this thing. He's waiting at the door. Well, window, not the fucking door. All right, let me just save real quick. Enable the script. She does a line. She says some shit, blah blah blah. Then we cut to this establishing shot where he's going to be pacing around. Let me think. It's probably going to start over here. Any reason why the Omnics would take it, then it's going to end like this. So it's probably going to be much shorter, this thing. I'm keeping it long, but for now. But as the lines come in, you know, or if you want to give yourself like a frame of reference for lines, which I might do that. I don't usually do that, but I might. Anyway, it's going to end here. So it's going to go into this. So let's finally do this. So we're going to copy. We're going to paste. And this is where, oh, see, this is the funny, this is the funny business. So because we cut off our last thing, now we no longer have that mocap. So I got to go to my templates thing to get the rest of this, to get this mocap over here. We're going to paste it to him. Now we got to do this over again. Not over again, but we just got to. So he turns around. We see when this happens. Okay, so right around here. And we're gonna open up standard camera here. Do I have my motion data? Yes, I do. Let's see how clean this, let's see if this is clean. Okay, so I want the moment over on this previous shot, the moment where he turns. There we go. Probably have to fix this slightly, but that's okay. Anyway, I'm just doing camera motion, cinematography, like with actual motion, you know, but you know, for you, you're just doing a storyboard for now. So when you get your mocap, you know, you can do, so I'm cutting corners by just doing this now. So you get your mocap, you know, you can obviously just do motion stuff, right? But, you know, your focus is going to be on, you know, making the imagery, you know what I'm saying? For the storyboard. Also with cinematography, this is what you're going to be doing for cinematography. It's the same shit. It's just in motion. It's the same thing as storyboarding, just in motion, you know? And when you do your storyboard, you obviously want to think about how it's going to look in motion. I cut corners by just doing it all at the same time for this particular thing. But normally I would not have the mocap yet, you know? I would do the storyboard first. So everything is just posing, you know? All right, so let me just do this real quick. I want to just do the motion of this camera. So this is shot 4. Oh, I have it. Great. So I don't have to do it again. Probably just going to do it again. All right, I'm going to just do this again. Just because I want it to look a little cleaner. for myself. Again, not necessary to do this right now, but oopsie. All right, let's do that one more time. Oh, there's too much motion. Okay, so that was nice. I'm gonna smooth it out 5 times, maybe 6 times. And he goes in, he says his little shit. You know, why does it seem like she's further away? I don't know. I thought she was in the shot earlier. Or am I just bugging? Like, wasn't she in the shot earlier when we did that? Like, I don't know. Was she moved? I think she was just moved. I don't know. I thought she was just closer. I don't know. Feels weird moving her, moving the. I don't want to move the camera. Like, I feel like she was in the foreground before. I don't know. It's weird. I guess I just got to move her slightly. I don't know. Oh, it's weird. All right, so I'm gonna take this standard camera, this light, and paste it. We're gonna disable shot 4. We're gonna call this shot 5. Group it together. Shot 5. We're gonna just connect these fill lights. We're gonna delete all those fill lights after. This is just so we can see it, you know, just so we can actually see it right now. But you want your images to have your actual lighting. Okay, I'm gonna probably stop it here for now. This is halfway into the conversation, so you know. So yeah, Dread, when you get this mocap, you know, you can opt to sort of do it in motion and then just take pictures from it. But it's only because I did the mocap this early. Usually that's not the case, you know? So, but it'll make your life a little easier, you know, if you want to do it that way. My suggestion is just to simply learn the process, man. All right, let me just, I'm going to add a little camera shake here. You know, keep it interesting. I'll probably do something more interesting with this shot. By the way, if you're doing like when you do have like cinematography for a close-up shot like this, well, for anything, you know, you kind of want to follow the character's movement, you know, just follow their movement. So if she's moving her head, you want to follow it. Sometimes you want to counter follow, meaning if they do something, you might want to do the opposite with the camera. It's another sort of thing. trick that you can do. Oh yeah, I forgot to add the idles as well. So let me just do that right now. Usually you're supposed to kind of clean up the mocap before you even start fucking around and copy pasting it into different shots. That's just kind of what I just did for some reason. So I'm gonna just do that right now. For me, it's not a big deal on this session, man. But here in this shot, let's save. He has fists. So if I go to my database, animation tools, idols, Overwatch, fists. There we go. So now he's got some fists. I'm gonna give Mercy some just relaxed things. Probably not gonna be, she's probably gonna have her fingers pointed. Where is it? Mercy, relaxed. She's probably gonna have her fingers pointed, so, because she's like typing on a computer screen thing. Anyway, here, probably do a similar story. Import animation, relaxed, and idle relaxed. There we go. Well, let's do the same with her. Her hand idles is just going to be the same. I mean, she's going to be typing, I guess, moving her fingers, so I'll probably make something like that. Hand animate, something like that. Where is it? What's her fucking name? It starts with an M, so why can't I find it? Oh, it's right here. Relax, here it is. All right, next shot. We don't see her hand. Okay, we don't see his hand, so import relaxed. We're gonna go here. We're just gonna import relaxed on him. Bro. Animation easy, bro. Just import. just import, bro. That's animation, man. Mercy relaxed. Save, because my thing stuttered a little. Let's do another import. Relaxed. Where is it? Here it is. Right, that's correct. Do the same thing here. Soldier, mercy, relaxed. There he's gonna have his, he's gonna put fists, but I'm not doing the hand animation just yet. I'm just putting in these idles. I kind of want to be able to see his, I want to be able to see his hand motion. Well, his fingers. So I might do something where it's like the shot isn't as tight. Because right now the shot is pretty tight. Oh, I want to see this in anamorphic. That's what I want to see. Where the fuck? Oh, about 5. All right. And let's just lower this a little bit. All right. I obviously have to redo the whole thing. And we don't want to zoom that far down on him because we don't want to see his ass, you know? That's not the focus of the shot. But I do like being able to see his hands, you know? Because he's going to be doing stuff with his hands, you know, pointing or whatever. Might even just do a different shot for this. But all right, let's see this in anamorphic, yo, because I really want to see this in the anamorphic camera, dude. Oh shit, it's already enabled. That's crazy. All right, so disable that. We go to shot 1. We copy paste this. What is this? 0.33. Probably needs to be further out. Let's make it 0.5. All right. It should be, the fill light should be on by default. Not default, but it should be on here. Oh, the blooms. We need the blooms, bro. Kind of don't want to fix it all right now. Bloom FOV table, 0.43. Let's try it. 0.43. 0.43. Take this horizontal FOV and just copy it, paste it to the other here. I want to see this fucking bloom, son. See this fucking shit. No, why is it so weak? Feels like it's barely there. I think it's because there's no lighting. There's no true lighting. Also, I'm getting this fucking grid. Is it like really that bright? I guess so. I really don't want to start enabling all my stuff. But let's just go for it, because maybe that's just holding it up. It's already enabled there. Scene build, exterior. And why is it so bright? See, we also need our, I need my internal lighting. And it's going to take a long time to load, so I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to 64 and see what that looks like. No, why am I getting this fucking grid, man? Is it really that bright? Do I have to turn that down? It only appears on certain things, like sometimes. It doesn't appear all the time. Right now it's appearing on the bloom, the regular bloom. But the chromatic, let's see if it appears on that one. Means I have to like reduce I have to reduce the brightness because it's just pushing the brightness way too hard. And I don't even see the effect. I barely see the effect. That's bullshit, man. Do I have to like pump this up? Did I like lower it before or increase it or something? I don't know. That's a shame. I thought it would be a lot brighter. I mean, a lot more. I thought it would be a lot more cuter to look at. Oh, I know why it's not cuter. It's because there's aperture on, so so it's just blurring everything. It's just kind of making it just blurry. You don't really want aperture with it. Anyway, I'm gonna see what it looks like here, because I totally want to see it here. So shot 2. This is technically where you're supposed to. This is technically when you're supposed to do this. You know, checking out what it looks like on the camera during this kind of phase. You know. All right, so I want to go I want to take this whole shit, copy, paste it here. No. Paste it on the whole thing. I'm going to adjust this to 0.5. And on the anamorphic, let's just compare the shots. Yeah, did the same. Did the same just with curvy edges. Yes. Yes. All right, let's disable these fill lights, bro. And enable the blooms, bro. Point 4.3. Right? Is that correct? So I'm getting these flares here. It's very nice. I'm just getting a lot of that grid. No, I don't know why the grid is so strong here. I think I'm just going to enable this fill light just to see. Because I don't feel like activating the other shit. All right, let's see what it looks like on the actual settings, the actual sample settings. Not exactly happy that it doesn't look brilliant, you know. But I don't know. Maybe I have to like add a light to sort of make a, because you know it's all soft lighting, so maybe I have to like do a bit more, you know, like maybe I have to like add a sun for there to really be some good bloom, because it's tied to HDR, you know, so it's actually it responds actual to HDR, so it's like you might need a bright source of light, you know, to actually get that bloom. Whereas on an overcast day, it wouldn't be that bright unless you were looking like directly at a source. I mean, at the same time, it is kind of bright, which is probably why the grid is there, you know. But I was expecting it to be more bloomy, you know, to look more bloomy. But it still looks nice though. In fact, I have to decrease the amount of light in the background. The sky is just, it's way too bright, man. I don't even know why it's so bright. Did I make the skybox that bright? Is that a me thing that I did that? No, that's normal. Global fog. Is the fog just really bright? Yeah, I pumped up the fog. That's one thing I did. Kind of wanted the fog pumped up, but okay, now the grid is gone, so that's good. Because the grid was just really killing the vibes. Means I gotta go now into each shot and fix the fog. But that's okay. I had to fix, I had to add stuff to the scene build in the back anyway. But yeah, I like this. This is really good. This anamorphic camera shit going on. Let me fix the fog here. LOL. Gotta fix fog, bro. Duck. I'm gonna disable the interior. Enable this thing. Let me just save. Getting the heebie-jeebies. The crashing heebie-jeebies. I'm also gonna probably end the stream in like 15 minutes. And I'll continue working on this tonight and tomorrow. Hopefully this gives you an idea, man, of like what it is you're doing. It's not exactly the storyboard thing that I'm doing, but it's basically the same thing. You're just making still images. So, all right, what was I doing here? I was, I want this to be here. I was fixing fog. Right. Oh, now I can actually see what the fuck is going on. Like in the background. Before it was just straight up white. But yeah, I actually have to fix this background so that it's the actual one from the previous scene, from the, you know, the outdoor scene. The issue I have is just that it's just a big ass scene, you know. It's gonna be a lot of stuff there. So I'm hoping I could kind of just jank it a bit and just add a bunch of pine trees, put the little pine card and hide a lot of that detail. And then just kind of just fake it a little bit. I could also like transfer some of the assets to the new session, you know. Just kind of fake it, you know. Because I don't want. I could also just take. I could also do cinematography in the scene, then use a card. But I don't think I want to do that because I kind of want to. You need the space to have the light shining in. Anyway, so that's that. That's that. I'm gonna do the same thing here on the anamorphic camera. And set this to 0.5. There's that. There's that. We're going to fix the bloom here to 0.43. Let me just copy this. Boom. this copy over. Let me just make sure that I copied over. Did. Alright, let's enable these. And let's disable the, and let's turn down this fog. Save it. Probably gonna have some of this this aperture stuff, this depth of field. Just see what it looks like. Because I want the bokehs, man. I want them sweet looking bokehs. The fill light is actually really killing the killing her face because it's so close. Actually need to do this. Just enable it there. Disable this here. Yeah, it should be normal now. At least I think so. Nope. Why is it so dark? Oh, because I am too, like, I don't really want to deal with this right now, so I'm just gonna turn this back on. Old tech. Old tech. I wonder if I could just increase this slightly without compromising too much. Nope. Anyway, I don't want to fuck around with that. I'm not even using it, so. Alright, let's see. I'm gonna actually just see what it looks like with all my lights, man. I think I need to make this interior illumination brighter. I think it's actually too dim. It looks really nice as a scene build, but it's too dim. Either that or there just needs to be a really strong sunlight to kind of come in and cast some light on the scene. But I want to make sure it's accurate, you know? I don't want it too sharp. I want it very dim. Not dim, spread out, I guess you could say. Like, diffuse. Because it's supposed to be overcast, you know? It's not supposed to be sunny. Why am I getting this effect? Because it's clearly not caused by these lights. Looks like there's like shadow on her, which is really weird. I'm trying to think. What's causing that? That's so strange. She's got black on her nose. Like, that's not right. I don't know what's causing that. Oh, mother of God. The lag is so intense. Alright, so where is this light? Or where's this shadow truly coming from? I just want to know. It's very strange. Kind of don't know where it's coming from. And I don't really want to spend the time to find out. Is it coming from this? I don't think so, because I still see it. Wow, this is pretty fast. I don't know why. Should be should be incredibly so. Oh, probably because this is not using stacks. There we go. So now it's gone. I don't know. The fill light. It was a fill light that was causing that funny shadow. All right, let's turn on stacks. See what it looks like. Bruh. It's actually kind of fast. This is faster than I'm expected. When I first made this scene build, it was like 1 frame every second, man. Whatever every second. 1 sample, I mean. Which is rough. Here it's like what? 2, 3. It's like maybe 3 samples every second. You kind of have to wait like a minute to see the result. Not a minute, like 2, 3 minutes or something. Well, with stacks and the interior lighting, you know. I barely see the stacks stuff because I mean I barely see the global illumination coming from outside because it's not coming in at a shallow enough angle, so there's no light hitting her face. I would kind of like light to hit her face from outside, you know, like a sunlight. But I do want the sun angle to be accurate to the skybox I'm using, so I might not do that. Which is Nimbus. Nimbus is like the actual skybox. Anyway, this looks really good. Like otherwise, like other than that there's no sun. I could just make a sun just to see what it looks like. Just because I'm curious, you know. Like I really want to see. But it would have to come at such a shallow angle that it might not be worth it. It'll look like a light hitting her fucking face from the side. I need to disable this. Man. All right, let's just see what it looks like because I really do want to, you know, this is the moment, you know, to do this kind of stuff anyway. So drop this, increase that, drop this. We don't necessarily have to drop this. Probably just gonna leave it up. Let's just give it a touch radius. And I need to increase the min and max distance here. And the far Z. There we go. Anything else I need to change? Okay, I need to like angle it So, oh, there's Mercy in there. Let's just angle it like right here. It's gonna hit her face at such an angle that it's gonna come from the side. It's gonna look kind of bad. Yeah, so that's what that looks like. I need to like put it at such a low angle that it's basically sunset. It's not exactly good. Let's go back here. All right, let's fix this this shadow stuff going on. Man, that's rough. That's rough, buddy. We're gonna make this that. So the light is bright enough to give probably some decent bloom, you know. Oh my god, it's just so fucking bright. Like it literally cancels out all the other light around it. That's how bright it is. Oh, it's because I fucking turned the lights off. That's why. All right, now, all right, now here we go. So with the lights on, and then maybe I'll see what a sun would look like in other shots. I'll put this in one. I'll put the sun in one more shot, and then I'm gonna see what it looks like before going off, logging off, or whatever. My God, it's so bright, and I really don't like this, man. It looks nice, but it looks too. It's too sharp. You know what I mean? It's too sharp of a light. It's just way too sharp. Thinking of maybe just, I don't know. You don't really want to increase the radius that much. Not for like 250. That's a bit too much, I think. All right, let's just see what this one looks like. I'm also going to make this faster by just cutting corners. Don't want to wait forever for this right now. This looks way better, you know, diffused out a little bit. It just looks way better. Less bright, less sharp, you know, more mixes a lot better with the original, what the global illumination's doing. Just looks a lot better. So if I have a light like this, I mean I'll make the well, I'll do like a more exact version of the sun, you know, basically imitating exactly what the global illumination's doing, but just make it a tad brighter so that and also give it a shallower angle so that then it'll appear more like just light is coming from the window and that it's sunlight, you know, that's just poking through the clouds a little bit. This actually looks really fucking dope, man. I'm about to just link this image. In our group chat. All right. Looks pretty fucking cool. All right, we're gonna do this. We're gonna add this sun for the time being. Right here. Right here. Just so we can get an idea for what this is gonna look like. I'm wondering if I'm just gonna add maybe a touch of this. I kind of don't really want too much aperture on this particular shot, but I think it's necessary since we don't need to see her like clear as day up front. All right, what am I paying attention to? The sun, right? So here I see the rim light that's created on him, on them, on the thing. But it's not exactly bright. I don't know. It's kind of just, I don't know, where is it? I'm just wondering where it is. It's here. Oh, because it's blocked by, I guess, window window stuff is blocking it. So let me I'd have to move it so that it's like, is that bullshit, bro? Fucking dumb. Kind of really don't want to move it. Not a good practice to move your sunlight too much. And it barely changed anyway. So, which makes sense. It didn't change. Let me just look at it from this angle. Save it. Yeah, that, so I was saying this earlier, but that when the sunlight comes in, it creates this very brilliant rim on the characters. It looks really it looks really cinematic, you know, when that rim is there. Basically, there's no key light, you know what I mean? There's no key light, it's just this rim. And everything else is just kind of like in just filled lighting, you know? And it's it adds a nice touch to the cinematography and shit. Man, I gotta fix his posture here. It's like so lanky. But yeah, this looks really nice. I'm gonna add it here because I want to see what it looks like. Over here. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty nice. Although you can barely see it here. You can kind of see it, but you can see it more like in the windowsill and shit like that. Let's add it here, even though I didn't add the anamorphic camera. So let's just quickly do that. This is shot 4. Copy, paste. Oh, we don't want to override the movement. So, deselect. Wait, what the fuck? Did I already do this? No, I didn't. I am lost. Alright, I fucked up. Alright, let's save. Alright, this is shot 4. We're taking this, pasting it here, putting 0.5, changing the bloom to 0.43. taking the horizontal FOV, copying it to everything else here. And now we're going to disable standard lighting, standard camera. Oh, shit. Undo. We're going to go here. Right. Now we're going to enable the blooms. Enable the bloom. Yes, yes. And the sun's there, so now keep in mind on this side of the camera, on this side of the camera, the sun is going to be it's going to look like a key light. So it's not going to exactly look pretty. So as you can see, we're on the side of the key light, so it's going to look like it's going to look rather bright, almost. Luckily, it's coming in at such an angle where it's like, you know, it's only half of the character's face here, so it's like it'll work out, you know. But there is a lot of bloom because it's like super bright here. It's like just really bright, you know. Okay, I'm turning off this fill light because we don't need it. Turning on the interior and the stacks. And it'll look way nicer for sure. It's really bright, man. It's a lot of bloom going on. Tis a lot of bloom. But yeah, this is kind of why I didn't want to make a sun in the first place. Because we already have a sun, so it's coming in at different angles. It looks funny. But the sun does look kind of good in the other shots, so it might be worth. Yeah, so it looks all right. I'll probably have to tone down the bloom on this particular shot because it's just way too high. This is probably the shot where it looks the best. Because the bloom is like the background is dark, so it's not just totally flooded. Anyway, I'm probably going to pick this up. Well, I'm probably going to continue making the shots throughout the night, processing my mocap, and then probably continuing tomorrow. And then I think by tomorrow I'll have my cinematography done. Then I'll just kind of go in and do cleanup, like mocap cleanup. So if I do another stream or whatever, it's probably going to be showing me doing that, doing cleanup and stuff. But tomorrow, Dread, if you're still there, I'm going to give you your mocap because that'll be done processing. It'll be done processing by tonight, but you'll probably receive it tomorrow. Then you can kind of get you could kind of move forward with doing your storyboarding with you know, being supplied by the mocap so that you don't have to do everything from scratch, you know, like all the posing and shit. Still, it's good practice to do it just with posing because you won't have mocap every time. But also, you know, at the same token, you do need to be exposed to the mocap, what is involved with it and shit. So I think either way you're gonna gain some experience on just this stuff, you know. This video was supposed to be about cinematography, about like what goes through my mind when I'm making a camera shot, and we kind of explained it. Well, we kind of went through it before, a little bit, but I think this is more just in my own mind, what I deal with, like not what I deal with, like what my thought process is. And it's not like, it's a very creative sort of thing. Like the technical stuff is kind of just an afterthought. You're really thinking about just like, you know, what story you want to tell, how, like you're going to be given these things, right? Like the characters like moving and shit. But cinematography is about like showing like how those characters are like, because they're moving around, and they're doing stuff in relation to the scene that you built and the lighting that's there. That's all cinematography. It's not just, that's all composition. It's not just those things that people usually say and learn, like rule of thirds or whatever. It's more than that. You know what I mean? Some people are naturally gifted with it, with that sort of thing. They just understand like that those kinds of theories and shit behind just, well, that's some of the stuff I look like, for you in particular, when I saw your stuff for the first time, when I saw it a long time ago, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at just like how things move around and shit in a shot. And like, what is it saying, like what the story is. So like, that's the kind of thing that I really look for, or that's how I can tell the difference between, say, like a decent movie and what's not decent, like like is the cinematography, like if you watch something like Spring Breakers, I think you'll understand what I'm talking about, like there's cinematography that's like literally on a different level than what a lot of people are fucking making, you know what I mean? Like there's people making just shit like videos, and then there's people making like fucking films, like for real, like like the camera motion is just like, well, I mean, just everything is a part of it, so um anyway, this video was about that. And um hopefully you kind of dove into my mind, go like on all the things that I kind of, it's an exploration, that's really what it is. You're exploring the different sort of like ways you can do something. And everything that's worked up to this point has been for that purpose, so that you can explore that space, because there's all different types of things you could do. And if you only do it one way, then you're stuck in that way, like you're stuck with whatever plan you originally came up with, whereas and it might not always work, so that's kind of like the key difference is why you'd want to do things like this particular way. And then like, because that's where like the real creative juice is, man, is like being able to explore the different camera angles and exploring like what you can say in a story visually. And that's also like a level, it's a level above, because like think about it, right? Like the kind of shit that we're making, it's already technically good, you know what I'm saying? Like on a technical level, the shit just looks already good. So like, what you're introducing to it is like something else. You're not even introducing anything technically good, like obviously, like big, I guess big point is, you don't want to make it technically worse, right? It's already technically good. So you're building off of it by introducing creativeness, like exploring those, how you might want to tell a story, and there's like, obviously like you can't like have the camera behind her because she's blocking the scene or something. Like for example, like over here in this shot, if the camera was behind her like for like 10 seconds just standing still, obviously that's not going to work because she's blocking the camera, but like, there's all these, so there's a bunch of different like camera positions you could choose. Some of them will work, some of them won't work, some of them will work. And then like you'll have but but then some of them will just really speak to you, you know, like from a storytelling standpoint and shit. All right, I got pinged, so I think that's my time to go. Damn, what the fuck? Court, I was watching on my phone, but with my headset, your audio is left ear only. Damn. That's probably why people haven't been staying in this thing. Let me see if I can fix that. That sucks, man. I don't know what's up with like audio sometimes. The shit just changes. Like you set it all once, but then it fucking changes for no reason. When your computer restarts, like whose fucking idea was that? Like your computer restarts and your audio is like all fucking changes. Where's the thing that says the mono? There's a option somewhere that says mono or stereo. I must have just passed it or something. See, it's not even on mono. If I click this, okay. Now this should be good. Damn, I wish someone told me that shit earlier. That sucks. It sounded normal on my phone too. That's why I didn't think of anything on it. Well, there you go. Stereo stream. Your left ear will have enjoyed 3 hours of pain. I guess if you watch this video, watch it on mono. So you set your audio settings to mono, and you won't have to deal with that. I wonder if I could somehow fix the audio after it's been uploaded so that people don't have to cope with that shit. But anyway, so I'm about to head off. I was just wrapping up my thoughts on making on cinematography, like just diving into like my mindset behind it, how you should think about it. You know, like I'm not really saying you should do any sort of specific camera angles or whatever, you know. In fact, it's almost the complete opposite. You almost never want to restrict yourself to just, oh, I got to do it like this, you know, like yes, there's going to be camera angles that work and some that don't work, but you want to leave yourself open to the exploration of ideas. And yeah, some things will work, some things won't work, and then some of them will come out as like you feel it, you know. Then there's all these other sort of things that you just pick up on when you go and like do cinematography and shit. Like movement is like a big sort of thing, and it's intrinsic, you know. It's like when a character's moving, you almost want to move the camera with the character, you know. You don't always have to do that though, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't always have to move the character, you don't always have to move the camera when the character's moving, but on some of them you can tell. Like I think I'll just play this, see what's happening. So here, like the camera's not moving with the character. It's just, I mean, I might do something like that, but probably not, you know. Here the camera is moving not really with the, like it's kind of moving with the character, like right, like here. Oh, fuck, keyframe. Here is just panning. It's not really following the character yet, but then with the rotation, right, it does start to kind of follow him around. And this is like nothing, but it's just, you know, we're just staring at her. She's not really. And here, you know, you could have chosen to have just a straight up shot, you know. I'm actually going to disable the light. you could have chosen to do just a straight up shot, but here it's like I chose to do a kind of like a subtle following of the character. So like, and then here it's really following him, you know? So you see when he moves his arm, the camera's going to move with his arm a little bit. And he moves forward, and then you also have this thing where it's like he's like, because he's further away, when he walks up closer, the camera's tilting upwards. You know, it's telling information and a story about him as a character, which is like, you know, he's a big imposing sort of captain of a whatever military team or whatever. So it's like it makes sense that, you know, like you know, that whole like thing, that the rule where it's like the bigger the character, what, like when you have the camera aimed upwards at something, the character appears bigger. That's it's kind of like it's the same rule there, you know, like that's the same sort of premise, but you're just doing it in motion, you know. So this is a straight shot, you know, like it's looking straight at him. But then as he's moving, instead of you panning backwards, you're looking up, you know, it's panning upwards or rotating upwards. So you see like, so you get this more imposing feeling, you know, it's better than just aiming the camera up at him, you know, like without any kind of movement. So anyway, movement is just a big part of doing cinematography, you know. Um, so again, it's the same story. I'll probably redo that shot. So I'll probably redo it just so it's a bit cleaner. Sorry, Jen. I'm reading right now what you the emoji you sent. Yeah, I is my audio okay? I'm logging off now, so it's not like it matters anymore. I went for 3 hours speaking in stereo, one ear side, one side of the ear. So, but anyway, I hope everything I sort of explained is makes sense. And for your storyboard, man, it's just you're doing the same thing. You're thinking about the same exact thoughts, but you're just making a picture out of it. You know, you're just making pictures. I'm gonna be doing the same thing. I'm gonna be taking pictures, just like the picture I just linked to you. That's just basically part of the storyboard. You know what I'm saying? Like that. You're that's what you're looking for. You're looking for just, you know, how does this look, like what story are you telling, you know, when what line is being said at that point in time, you know, what is she saying, and so all those things, man, they work together. I hope I'm sort of explaining this in a way that's going to make sense to you. It's not something that you can really truly teach someone, you get what I'm saying? So like it's just something you learn over time with just experiencing film and just experiencing other people working, I guess, and just knowing all the different ways you can do something, you know? Like it's not just like there isn't just like a one set formula thing. It's just there's a bunch of different tools and a bunch of different stuff out there, and you take it and you pick and choose which what you want to kind of do for a shot, you know? Like that's like the essence of cinematography. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that for everything, you know, like it's basically the same premise for a lot of stuff, you know. But for cinematography, that's like the most, that's what it is in essence, you know. Like that's the ultimate essence of it. People don't really get that, man. Not saying that it pisses me off, but some people don't really understand that, you know. It's what separates like good film from not good film, you know. You ever watch like good movies versus bad movies? I mean, bad movies are just really good at doing all of this stuff really wrong or just having a, you know, a lack of that stuff in it. Yo, yeah, I was saying Spring Breakers, man. If you ever watch that movie, like you'll understand like kind of what I'm talking about. And that's it's my favorite movie. Not saying you might like it, you know. I don't know your taste in movies or whatever, but like the cinematography of that movie is like I don't think there's you know, you can't claim something is objectively good, but to me, Spring Breakers is like an objectively well shot movie, you know, well edited movie. Like everything is done with like this kind of purpose to it. And it's done in such a fluid way, man. It's next level. Like I really like it's just a different level. Like people aren't making shit like that. You know what I mean? Like people are just really like not on that fucking level, you know. Um so I mean that really drives me, you know, like that the movies like that, you know, where it's like how you can tell a story straight up just through um well, I mean, it's almost like it's not even like you're using like it's not like a secret or anything. It's just like it's literally every part of the film, you know, is like every part of it is working together almost in unison, like a combination of just, you know, it's the lighting, it's the information, it's the plot that's going on, it's the tone, like how it feels, you know. Then you have the emotion, like the feelings that you like are experiencing when you're looking at it, you know. And getting the information from from whatever the story is, you know, because the story is obviously there to give you some kind of information, you know. But all of those things they compound, man, into like something that is a lot more than just here you go, rule of thirds, here you go, 180 rule, here you go. You know what I mean? Like it's more than that, and it's beyond that shit, you know. It's beyond that kind of stuff, man. So when you're making your shots, bro, try to eliminate that kind of stuff in your mind, you know, like eliminating that any kind of like, yes, you got to think about like rule of thirds, you got to think about 180 rule, right? But don't live and die by it, you know what I mean? Like that's not the ultimate goal. You just that's just a thing that maybe you want to just touch up. Like for example, in this one, like in this shot that's on the screen right now, I wasn't thinking 180. I wasn't thinking 180 rule or 360 or whatever it's called, three whatever the whatever it's called. When with this shot, you know, it's just it's center frame, right? But that's not what I'm thinking about, right? Like I'm not thinking about just center frame or trying to capture Soldier 76 in a rule of thirds, you know. It's about like what the story what is actually which is what followed from the previous shot, you know. I think that's what it was when I was making it. But the previous shot happens, then this shot happens, and like you're thinking about that transition right into the next shot and what you think is going to be what is going to work from that transition to the next. And then thinking about like, all right, you know, like what are all the elements, and then how do they all build with each other, and then what is her expression and shit like that. Like you're not really thinking about that kind of technical stuff, like 180 rule and stuff. How many times did I break it in this shit? Let's see. uh I don't even know where the 180 line is in this right now. Like I'm trying to think. uh this breaks the 180 rule for sure because it crossed behind. The thing is, you didn't have a reference frame for Mercy, right? And we kind of go behind her. So we kind of just, we broke it like twice, right? So we broke it once here, going from here to here. But then because we sort of go panning across her, we're almost returning back over the 180 line with a pan. Then now we're on the same line. And because we don't see Soldier 76, it kind of just makes sense that we can go over here, you know, because he's not in the frame anymore for us to really care whether we're breaking a 180 rule or, you know what I'm saying? People know that Soldier that she's talking to him off screen, and so he's gonna be there. So anyway, that's I'm gonna try to cut this off before I keep droning on. I mean, I love film, so I could talk about it for hours. So, no, but that's what it is, man. Um, I kind of already know you're good at it. You know what I'm saying? Like you're good, you're pretty good at doing cinematography. So I think you naturally understand. You know what I'm saying? Like I think you naturally get it. but take what I'm saying here is like just a view into my mind. And obviously when I start dealing with your session or when I start dealing with trying to piece everything together as a director, obviously that's what I'm looking at. Like all that stuff that I just mentioned, shit, that's really what I'm looking at, not exactly like, and I know it intrinsically, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, oh, that stuff is just ingrained into my experiences, you know what I'm saying? So like, it has nothing like, so if I change something of yours, has nothing to do with whether it's like, I might, if I change anything of yours, it might even just be to preserve what you have, but then also making it just technically look good, that might be a thing I might do. uh, or if I see something and it's just, I don't think it looks, I don't think it works, then I might just change it based off of like, okay, this is the story that needs to be told, you know what I'm saying? um but yeah, so it's going to be me juggling those, thinking, and that's my mindset, is just, that's what I'm looking at. Does it tell a story? Does it follow, like, what's the movements going on transitioning? So basically giving you that heads up is like, that's how you should think, exploring this space of camera angles, and really putting in the thought, like putting in your thoughts on like how you want something to look, you know, not look, but how, what you're trying to express, um, and not just at a single picture, at the sequence of pictures, like the sequence of events, so you're thinking about the previous shot when you're making the current shot, and you're thinking about the next shot while you're doing the current shot, about how your camera is transitioning between them. Anyway, bro, I'm gonna go. Probably I'll be on maybe tomorrow doing the same kind of thing. I don't know if I'll probably be done with my shit by then. So anyway, I will see you around, bro. And for everybody else who maybe or flies on the wall. Signing off now. I could figure out how to do that.